So the REIT environment, it's an asset class in itself really, Don, isn't it? And retail REITs, particularly the shopping centre REITs, like your own, have been doing pretty well recently. What does that say? Is this about real estate or is this about a healthy consumer?
Oh gosh, Bonnie. Well, good morning. It's about so much. It's not only a changing consumer, and there is a changing consumer out there. That consumer does have more money to spend. I know we don't see it. I do think lower gas prices have had a positive impact. I know it's hard to measure, but I believe it's there. I also think that you know, not all REITs are created equal, and so you need to be a little discerning in terms of the particular real estate that's underlying it, where those markets are, and what the ability of the consumer or the propensity of the consumer to spend in those places is. Lots of change in the product these days, and today, it's specifically in the shopping center REITs. This needs to be a place that people want to shop. Because they don't need to shop nearly as much as they had to.
Okay.
So the environment's changing.
Well, so the ticker for your particular REIT is FRT. You can see it on the Bloomberg, and actually it looks to me like it might be an all-time high. Is there a problem in the sense that investors are rushing into REITs because it's the thing to get into now? It's one of the only places where it looks like there's a return for your money.
Well, listen, and you know as well as I do, it's all about growth and where the future lies. And a number of REITs in particular, and I'd like to count ours among them, have very strong growth prospects. Lots of development of mixed-use property in our case that will propel growth for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years. That's not available everywhere. So when you can find that in whatever kind of investment you're looking at, it's attractive.
Now, Don, are you saying that the growth in the REIT industry is going to come from expansion as opposed to, say, higher rents or better occupancy?
Well, it's a little bit of everything, but there's no question that coming out of the recession, that lots of portfolios were occupied down in the high 80s or low 90% range, you know, 90% occupied. And today, most of them are 94, 95, and 96% occupied. That's been a long period of time of leasing up. Well, now they're leased up. So what do you do now? And you can't completely rely on occupancy gains because there's just so far to go. It's got to be based on higher rent, but more importantly, in my view, about external growth, and that comes from development and the occasional acquisition that can be redeveloped. Well,
you have a unique insight into commercial lending, given what you do. Tell us about the state of commercial lending. Is it getting tighter? Is it more difficult to get loans and so forth?
Well, you got to remember the difference between the public companies, the REIT model, the public REITs, and the rest of the real estate, which is a much bigger percentage of real estate, total real estate, than the REITs are. But the REITs can do an awful lot today, have access to capital that's really, really very broad. And that can be in the form of unsecured bonds and different type of notes.
So you're saying the banks have tightened up?
No, I'm not. I'm saying it's still available to REITs, but long track records are really important today, and those track records are more important than they've been in the past.
Okay. There's rumours, and more than rumours, there's the push for the likes of department stores like Macy's, for example, to become a REIT. Macy's is resisting that. We see Lord & Taylor, took that option, and I should say Lord & Taylor's parent, Hudson's Bay, taking that option. It's more of a real estate company now. What would your advice to Terry Lundgren be?
I wouldn't give advice to Terry Lundgren. He's got a business that he's got to figure out going forward. I don't think the laying out the business as a REIT or not as a REIT is the answer to the underlying business. That's a much bigger issue that he and others have. The REIT model is all about long-term growth and value in real estate. So to me, it's not a mechanism to be able to create a benefit for financial purposes. It's about how to get real estate in the hands of a broader audience.
So if you step outside retail REITs, and I think we're going to pull up the relative performance of the various REITs, because obviously REITs are in every sector, where do you see, maybe better performance ahead for some of those that have been suffering, and maybe mergers or sort of asset buys or so forth?
Well, look, it really comes down to company by company, and you got to be able to look at those growth plans. And a rising tide lifts all boats. I don't think that will be the case in 16 and 17 and 18 because of what I said previously in terms of where we are today. So you've got to look at specific company business plans. I would not lump all of these companies in one place and say, let's invest in REITs or let's not invest in REITs. Pick the company that you believe in the growth plans for the company, put your money there.
What about valuations? Too highly valued, overvalued for the retail REITs?
Certainly not compared to the private market for real estate, which is and continues to be red hot. There is a real limit on great quality real estate out there, and there's plenty of capital to be able to invest in it. So those supply-demand dynamics would suggest that would continue.
All right, I just want to let people have a look at my Bloomberg for a moment just to see if they can. What are the best performing retail REITs there? And there you go, number 15, Federal Realty Investment Trust. So congratulations and thank you to Don Wood for joining us today from Los Angeles. Much appreciated. He is the CEO of Federal Realty Investment.